Well, Bob, here we are at the entrance to your tree farm, and can't wait to get inside and take a look at some of the things that you've got to show us as we get in there. Uh, when did you get started in the tree farm business? What year was that, and what brought that about?
Well, I guess you could say I was started part-time tree farming in January 1978, and I maintained that status until about midsummer of '93. And then from the September of '93 to present, I've been full-time. So it's been an interesting transition. It's been a lot of fun. The history here is really kind of interesting as to me. I guess you could say I'm a third generation tree farmer. My dad maintained this. My grandfather acquired this property right here in 1919. He farmed it, cotton and corn, did a little sugar cane down in the central part of the property. And then about the mid-40s, pine trees started developing. He maintained that very well. And then as his passing, Dad kind of, from an absentee standpoint, took over and did a very good job of managing here with the assistance of Texas Forest Service and some landowner assistance programs. And then I've been chomping at the bits to get back down here for a while. And like I said, from '78 to '93, I've been long distance tree farming, but from the I guess you could say October of '93 to present, I've been devoting 100% time and attention to the tree farming.
Must be fun.
It's been great.
Yeah,
been very fortunate.
Well, that's something to be envied. I think a lot of us would like to be able to say that that's what we do.
Yeah, it's really been a true blessing, and like I said, every day I don't consider it work. Consider it just opportunity to get to come out and do really what I truly love to do, and I feel this is where I need to be, where I was supposed to be.
Makes it a good life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can't wait to get inside, look at some of the other places on your property, and visit with you about that, Bob.
I'm looking forward to showing you all around.
Thank you. Well, Bob, we're out here in sort of in the middle of your tract on what I guess the what would this be, the west side, east side?
Yes, sir. This is the west central, side, I guess you could say.
Well, I turned around after we had that cup of coffee
and that.
Lost track of where I was, even though it is a sunny day.
This is a 170-acre tract we're on, and this is a 15-acre plantation right here that was planted in '94. And you know, when I first came in here with this, it was a learning experience for me because I'd only been down here a year. Again, I had been working with a professional consultant, but we were kind of learning together, I guess you could say. A lot of hardpan out here in this. We had a lot of hickory, but we did have a lot of pine. And so we said, hey, this will support pine, but our population to hardwood to pine was overwhelming. So we went in here and took this out and said this could be a site, but we did a little ripping on a hardpan, and that helped us a little bit. But during that period, we had I tried to plant the second week in January. We normally had some pretty good moisture. It seems like that the second week in January has always been the best time to plant. I've had real, I guess you could say, very good success with it. Seems like the moisture's always there. It always seems to be in the mid-40s, cloudy, overcast, and hardly any wind. So that helps us a lot.
Great planting weather.
So when we got in here, things went very well, but we had a little lack of moisture the following 2 years, so I had to come back and replant. And but I think they're on their way now.
How many acres in this plantation?
This is 15.
15.
And
okay.
this plantation that we planted in '94.
Okay.
And this is an advanced loblolly pine. These were IP seedlings that we put in here. And I think they're on their way. They're just.
Yeah, they're looking good.
The ground is a little different than what we have out here in this native, but again, we're dealing with a lot of hardpan, which, like I said, was a learning experience for me for sure.
Well, it's interesting that you ripped it first. That's a relatively new technique that we should have started long ago.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a real involved ripping process, but I think it helped us a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. And we're right on the edge of some pretty good native timber that we're going to look at a little bit later on when we get into the interior of that. But well, that's a nice looking young plantation. Looks like they've really put on a nice spurt this year.
Yes, I think, again, we've been very blessed with moisture here in the last year or so. So I think that they're doing very well.
Let me just ask you, what was the spacing on this plantation?
I think this was 7 by 9 spacing on this particular. I may need to go back and look at my notes on that, but because we did have different spacing on these different tracks, but I'm thinking it may have been. I think it was. No, it was 6 by 9 spacing.
6 by 9.
It was
Okay.
6 by 9 on this track.
Did you do any herbicide weed control?
Yes, we released these seedlings by helicopter. We contracted it out, and we did that the following season.
Did you have other tracks to helicopter spray at that time as well?
No, sir, but not personally, but we did. I think my consultant was able to coordinate some other tracks in the general area where we could kind of help us a little bit with our cost, and made it practical and feasible for both parties to do what we need to get done.
Good deal.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we disband here and we'll move to another location and take a look at some more of your management.
Super, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Bob, we're out here again in the middle of your tract, and we've got a little bit different look than some of the other looks we've taken this morning. This is a really nice stand of native timber that has been well managed. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've done here and what motivated you to do what you did?
Well, this is on the native here we're standing in. This is a 115-acre portion of the 170-acre tract. And granted, these are native trees, and they're based on what I've checked on boring the trees and counting the rings, annual growth rings, between 47 and 50 years of age. This tract was thinned in September of '94. So we're basically, as you can kind of see up here, looking at the crowns, we're getting pretty close to need another thinning, and right now we're pretty well scheduled to thin them in '04. So we've done a prescribed burn in the late '80s, and again, I've been trying to do understory work with herbicide, and I try to do this in early spring, and then October 15th is pretty well my cutoff date in the early to mid-fall. But we're in here I'm trying to control this understory, and I really just like walking through here and look and checking the trees out, and just it's just a part of the beauty of getting to come out here. I don't really I just don't consider it work. I just
understand.
consider just to get to come out and the enjoyment of getting to come out here